Welcome to our science class. Are you excited to do some science today? Yes, I am excited to have you here with me. Okay, now today our topic is habitat. I'm going to be teaching you all about habitat. Habitat. Can you say the word with me? Habitat. Have you ever heard the word habitat before? Yes? Now, habitat is a place where plants and animals live. A place where plants and animals live is called a habitat. Okay? Where we can find our plants and where we can find animals, that is a habitat. Okay? Now, there are many kinds of habitats. There are different kinds of habitats. Okay? Now, one kind is the land habitat. Now, land habitats are where plants and animals live on land. They live on land. Okay? Now, we have water habitat. Now, water habitat is where you can find plants and animals in water. Okay? So, let us go back one more time. Now, we have land habitats. Land habitats is where plants and animals live on land. They live on land. And then we have water habitats. Water habitats is where plants and animals live in, what is it called? Water. So you can find plants and animals in water there. Alright? So let us take a look. Some animals and plants that live on land. Let us talk about the plants first. Are you ready? Now, when you were out yesterday, when you're out in your yard, when you were out on the road yesterday, I'm sure you saw some plants. Now, the plants that you saw on land, okay, can you remember some of the names? Now we have sunflower. A sunflower lives on land. We can find sunflowers on land. Have you ever seen a sunflower before? Let us take a look. I'm sure you have sunflowers in your yard, don't you? Now sunflowers live on land. Okay? Another plant that lives on land, or another plant that we can find on land, is the mango tree. Who likes mangoes? I love mangoes. Do you like mangoes? Now, where can we find a mango tree? We can find a mango tree on land. Okay? Mango tree, they grow on land. Alright? Can you think of another plant that we can find on land? Another one that we can find on land is very popular and it's all around us is grass. Grass. Now I'm sure you know what grass is, don't you? Now grass can be found on land. That's another plant that we can find on land. Okay? Now, let us move on to plants that we can find in water. Some plants that live in water are water lily. Now, let us take a look at the water lily. Isn't it beautiful? It's beautiful. Now, these plants, you can find them in water. Okay? These plants, they grow lovely in water. If you put these plants on land, let us say we take the water lily from the water and we put the water lily on land, it will not grow because they have to grow in water. Their habitat is water. Okay? Another plant that we can find in water, another plant whose habitat is the water is, do you know the name for this plant? This is called duckweed. If you look in your trenches and you look in the drains and so on, you can find this. Now let us take a look at this. Look at it carefully. Now this is called duckweed. What is it called, children? It is called duckweed, and that can be found in water. Okay, their habitat is water. Another one that we can find in water is mangroves. Now mangroves are very important, boys and girls. Mangroves, they help to prevent flooding. Okay, now they are very important trees, and I want you to think for a minute. When you pass by the seawalls, sometimes you would see these large, huge trees. Okay, now those trees are planted there to help prevent flooding. Okay, now these beautiful trees, they grow well in water as well. Their habitat is water. Okay, now let us review or recap what we just did before I move on. Alright, so we have plants that live on land, and we have plants that live in water. Can you remember which plants live on land? Now the plants that live on land are, we have sunflower, we have the mango tree, we have grass. Can you name some more plants that live on land? Alright, good job, boys and girls. Now we also have plants that live in water. We can find plants in water too. Now can you remember the names of some of these plants? Now some of the plants are, we have these beautiful plants, and they are called water lily. And then we have these here. What are these called? Duckweed. What are they called, boys and girls? Duckweed. That's right. And then we have a very important tree. It's huge and it can be found by the seawalls. What is it called? Can you remember the name? This is a mangrove. Alright? Now here is the thing. We have plants that live on other plants. How excited is that? Some plants live on other plants too. Okay? Now plants that live on other plants, they get their nutrients from that plant. Okay, now some examples of those plants are bird vines. I'm sure you heard of bird vines before. Now plants that grow on other plants, that is called bird vines. Now let us take a look at this plant. Let us look carefully. Can you see the bird vine on this tree? Can you spot it? Can you see it? There it is. Look, it's running right around the plant. That is a bird vine. Okay? Now some plants live on old wood. Now sometimes we have some old wood packed up in a corner. We have all of these old woods here, and it's very damp. Okay? And when we look, we see some little white things. Now let us take a look at these woods. Can you spot these little white things on the wood? Now those grow on old wood and in damp places, and those plants are called mushrooms. Say that with me. Mushrooms. Those plants are called mushrooms. Okay? Alright, boys and girls. So now you see plants have different habitats. Okay? Some of them live on land habitats, and some of them live on water habitats. Okay? Now plants that live on land, some examples are the mango tree, the sunflower, we have grass, we have a guava, we have a rose plant. All of these here, they live on land. And then we have plants that we can find in water. Plants that we can find in water are, let's name them, say it with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Water lily, duckweed, and mangroves. Very good. And then we also have plants that live on other plants. And that is called the bird vine. One example of plants that live on other plants is the bird vine. Alright? And then even when we pack up our things in a corner and they're a little bit damp, we still have plants growing on them. And that, one example of those plants are mushrooms. Okay? So there you have it, boys and girls. Plants have different habitats. We can find plants everywhere. Okay? Now this is Miss Amy saying goodbye for now, children. Our next session we will learn about animals and their habitats. Bye everyone. Mangroves. Move on.